Hi, friends, and welcome back to the Girl Camper Podcast. I am your co-host, Lesa McDermott. October is here, and it is one of my favorite times of the year to go camping. And it also means that the forests, they are showing off in a big way. Right now, the colors are peaking, especially in places like New England and the Blue Ridge Mountains. And over the next few weeks, you are going to see waves of reds and golds and oranges. And they're just going to roll south into Virginia and Tennessee and even Georgia by November. And one of the best ways to experience the season is by heading into our national forests. Whether it's for a scenic drive down Skyline Drive in Shenandoah, hiking among the waterfalls in North Carolina, or maybe fishing under the golden oaks in Tennessee. And Spacious Skies Campgrounds, they have mapped out this journey in what they call a 15-stop fall color trail. It's a guide that follows autumn down the East Coast and it lets you stretch out the leaf peeping season from now until late November. Today, I'm joined by Ali Rasmussen, one of the owners of Spacious Skies Campground, who's here to share her insider tips on the best national forests to visit this fall and how to make the most of the season before the last leaf falls. So let's get into it.
Exploring without travel trailer insurance could have your adventures going in the wrong direction. Keep yours moving forward with Progressive. Get a quote today from a leader in RV insurance.
Hey everyone, I am so excited to have Ali on with me from Spacious Skies Campground. Welcome back to the Girl Camper Podcast, Ali. You are no stranger to our podcast, um, but I'm excited to have you today because I think this is going to be a really fun topic, talking about why we should love our national forests here in the fall.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Obviously, huge fan of Girl Camper. I am a girl camper. And yeah, I'm excited to talk about a really fun topic.
Cool. And with everything that's kind of going on right now with some national monuments and national parks maybe being shut down, national forests, they stay open. So I think this is a really timely topic that we can be talking about. Plus, it's leaf changing season. So what better time? This is my favorite time of year. I know to go camping.
It really is. Yeah, I think it's everybody's favorite time to go camping. Just looking at our grids, they are getting packed. So it's a great time to go camping.
Well, and Allie, you are one of the owners of Spacious Skies Campgrounds, and you're primarily kind of on the East Coast, I would say.
Yes.
And you travel from Maine all the way down to Georgia. So this is just perfect to talk about how people can follow the changing of the colors. But before we dive in, what to you makes the national forest such magical places to visit in the fall?
Yeah, I was thinking about that. It's such a great question. And I think that a few reasons, including that there's such a huge diversity of like trees and flora that you experience in a national forest, which just means that you have like an extended and colorful leaf display like all around you because it's just a diversity of species. I mean, of course, like the fall, crisp air, and there's fewer bugs, which is important. The golden hour light for photography and your Instagrammable content is really nice. And I think that it's school time, right? So even though people love to go camping and go out into nature in the fall, as we were just talking about, like there's still a little bit more of like a sense of solitude and the scale of like the crowded tourist attraction kind of thing is lower. So I feel like you can really get into the season when you're in the forest in the fall.
I agree. I agree. The Girl Campers here in South Dakota, we're all getting together in a few weeks in October and taking advantage of one of our national forest campgrounds that part of it remains open up and through December. And It's awesome. We've done this every year and there'll be hardly anybody there and it's right on a lake and some wonderful trails and it really is my favorite time to be camping.
Yeah, agreed.
Mhm.
Agreed.
So now Spacious Skies, you guys created this 15 stop fall color trail that runs from Maine down to Georgia. And I gotta admit, I never really thought about Georgia as being a place to go see fall colors. So I was fascinated by this fall color trail that you created. Can you explain how it works and why you guys designed it? Probably for people like me that didn't think of Georgia.
That's right. Well, we like to, say that our collection of campgrounds is your perfect road trip. And, both in the springtime and then now in the fall, you can take it in, one direction or another. For the fall, we go north to south. And, like you said, we run Maine to Georgia, and we are in 10 states along the eastern seaboard. And the way that we've designed the road trip is each stop is a Spacious Skies campground, and your drive time between each one is like 3 or 4 hours, which is sort of perfect.
Oh, yeah.
And it is designed to let our campers like chase the colors. So you're starting in Maine because the colors are turning there first. And you go south and you go through New England and you go through the mid-Atlantic and then you go, down into the southeast states and then you end up in Savannah. And we really believe in making camping and RVing just like seem really accessible and easy to access for as many people as possible. And so we don't, want anyone to stress about making like this whole 15 campground road trip like have to happen. And so we have also, just made sure to make it easy to group maybe sub-regions or even just like look at a campground and be like, oh, I'm gonna take a little weekend trip there. But it's an easy thing to put together in like your road trip itinerary for a shorter or a longer adventure.
Oh, how fun. Now, I've never spent a lot of time in the Maine or the northern New England areas. Is there anything unique that you, like someone like me, you'd want to know about the leaf changing up there? I live in the Black Hills of South Dakota, so our leaves are basically aspens or poplars, and we just get that beautiful golden yellow, and then the rest of our trees are pine trees. So,
Right, right. So we certainly have evergreens up in New England and in Maine as well, but there's also like such a nice mix of like birch and maples, and you really get like a contrast of those reds and those
mm,
oranges and the yellows and the deep greens. And in Maine and northern New England, of course, like the colors show first, and you start to see them in September and late September, although this year we started to see colors a little early.
mm,
But right now it's like the height in Maine for sure. So like if
ooh,
anyone out there is looking to go see some brilliant colors, now is the time. And I think, just what you're seeing the colors against is like these rugged backdrops of like mountains and lakes. And if you're down at our southern Maine location, Spacious Skies Walnut Grove, like that's our closest to, I think, the coastline. We're not on the coast, but you're like a half-hour drive, and so you can take a glance at the Atlantic Ocean behind some like really wild colors at some of those forests out there. So it's just really spectacular. And I think if I were to pick out a few national forests, I think that are within driving distance from our locations, there's the White Mountain National Forest in New Hampshire. And there is also Baxter State Park in Maine, which is where the apex of the Appalachian Trail is. And then
oh.
there's also the Green Mountain National Forest in Vermont, just over the border. We don't have a Vermont location yet, but it's just over the border.
My husband grew up in Connecticut and he always talks about wanting to go back and especially go camping up in that area in the Maine and the New Hampshire area and how gorgeous they are. And I keep thinking in the back of my mind, maybe next year I'll come out and I'll host an event out there with you guys in one of
I-
your main areas.
It'd be awesome. I mean, I can't choose favorites. All the Spacious Skies campgrounds are my babies. But I will say that there is, I have to agree, like there's something really special about New Hampshire and Maine and New England camping. I don't want to forget, Massachusetts because we're also up there as well. Um, and we're also in New York State, which is not, known as New England, but there's a lot of New York that's like in the same, it's horizontal to New England. So we have a campground up there near within the Adirondack State Park, and obviously the Adirondacks are also a wonderland. And then another campground sort of between the Berkshires and the Hudson Valley. So there's a lot to see and do up there.
Very fun, very fun. Well, yeah, moving south a little bit down into like the mid-Atlantic area and the Appalachians. I know like Shenandoah National Park and George Washington National Forest, they are I believe very iconic in October.
Yeah.
What does make that region such a draw for leaf peepers down there?
For sure, Skyline Drive, which is one of the entrances to Skyline Drive in the Shenandoah Park, is 20 minutes away from Spacious Skies Shenandoah Views. So that drive is like 100 plus miles of just panoramic views of rolling red and orange hills. So I mean, I think that's like a really major draw. Um, and we put some of this information together for our trail information, but I know that there are over 200 bird species,
Oh,
um, and abundant wildlife, visible during like migration during this time. So like all you birders, that's I'm sure a draw. And I think that that area is really accessible to a lot of East Coast like cities and suburbs of those cities, and so it's like such a great easy weekend escape, and I think that that's yeah really what makes it so accessible and such a hot spot.
any tips that you would give people that are wanting to head that way?
Well, it is a hotspot. So if you're interested in, finding any campsite, ours are our locations or otherwise, like it is probably, a good time to look right now, and you're going to probably find more availability like during the week. So if that's something that makes sense to folks, like then, you can
Mhm.
find even more solitude and peace, like if you're going to do that. But I think that you for sure, again, want to like arrive earlier in the morning or later in the afternoon to avoid any like sort of congestion. And yeah, layers. Always pack layers. The weather can change, and especially at that elevation. So I think that those are my four tips.
Those are great trips. I mean, here literally today where I'm at in Custer, South Dakota, it feels like it's 90 right now in my office, and it probably
Oh,
is. It's probably like 75, 80 degrees outside. But I
oh,
think the high on Sunday is like 48, the high.
it, it is the season for weather that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's Mother Nature's bipolar, I swear.
No doubt. No doubt.
So if we're moving a little bit more now, following the trail now south, we're hitting into kind of the southern mountain range and western North Carolina, from what I hear. Again, an area I've not spent any time in, but I hear
Yeah.
it's just famous for its fall colors. And is that now kind of the area where Bear Den is?
That's right. We have Bear Den and Hidden Creek in Western North Carolina. And that area, I think, has like a longer color season,
Hmm.
just, based on where it is and science. I don't know. But their colors are they're a bit different because of the different trees that we find down there. So there's like a mix of dogwood and hickory and poplar, and so you see like the
Hmm.
reds and the goldens, and it's all, sort of the backdrop there, especially at Bear Den, right? We have like iconic waterfalls and all of these vistas from the Blue Ridge Parkway. So it's another spectacular view of everything. It's just fall camping is just so nice. It's just so nice. This conversation is making me like wonder why I'm sitting inside right now.
You and me both. Yeah, you and me both. Well, it definitely sounds like in that area there are a lot of just things you just cannot miss, in the forest that are near those areas.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. I mean, in the Hidden Creek Bear Den area, specifically our two campgrounds around there, there's the Linville Gorge Wilderness, which everything is starting to reopen again from Hurricane Helene. There has been a
Hmm.
ton of progress made, so like that's really great. Mount Mitchell is there, and Mount Mitchell is the highest peak east of the Mississippi. So that's one you don't want to miss. And I know people out west like you, Lisa, can giggle at our elevations. Um, but and of course the Blue Ridge Parkway overlooks. There are so many stops on that, that drive. And the local waterfalls, as I mentioned, Linville Falls and a number of others. And I will say that the Blue Ridge Parkway is almost nearly completely open. The one of the last areas that's like still getting worked on is the one that is right by Bear Den's driveway because we're right
Oh,
on the Blue Ridge Parkway. But what has really been sort of fun is that bikers, like bicyclists,
uh-huh.
have taken to like using that part of the Blue Ridge Parkway as their like car-free adventure. And
Oh, how
it's
fun.
super like that's a silver lining. So
Mm.
if you like to cycle, that is a really it's not going to last forever. They will open up to cars, very soon. So that I would
Oof.
drop.
Take advantage of it. Go get
Yeah,
your e-bikes, people, especially if you're looking for one, go get a buzz e-bike.
that's right. That's right.
And
Yeah.
jump on it and go check out the Blue Ridge Parkway. That sounds really fun. And it's funny you mentioned the elevation of the mountain because yes, we take our elevations very seriously. Here in the Black Hills, we like to say that our Black Hill Peak is the highest mountain between the Rocky Mountains and the Swiss Alps. So
That's good. Yeah, there's always a stat that you can make.
exactly.
Baseball.
So now moving, even more southern, we're heading now into Tennessee and to Georgia. Like I said, Georgia is just not somewhere I don't know why I never did think of it as a place to go to see changing colors, but
Yeah.
obviously it is. And those colors, from what I understand, will last way until November. But
Mm.
so tell me, someone who
Yeah.
doesn't know, what makes their forests, so special that they last so much later in the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the lower latitudes, and
Mm,
which is the word I was seeking earlier, and elevations just mean I think that the colors peak longer. So, we have like the fiery red maples and the golden, like the deep gold oaks, and that shows for weeks. And I think that it can be less crowded than in the north because of exactly what you're talking about, right? Like you don't think about leaf peeping down there. So
mm,
it could lead to a more peaceful experience. It is the snowbird migration time naturally right now. So yes, your like national forest or your hike areas may be more peaceful, but for sure, if you are looking for like a campsite right now, it is the time that people are coming down and camping and traveling through. So
mm.
just like a little bit of planning. Although I will say that our same day and same week reservations this year in comparison to any other year has been quite high. So you can still make some last minute decisions if the spirit moves you.
And your campground in Tennessee, that's Bell Ridge, right?
Bell Ridge, yeah, Spacious Skies
And,
Bell Ridge. Yeah.
and that's kind of in central Tennessee, if I remember right.
That's right. That's right. It's our little central time zone offshoot. It's like right to the west of where Tennessee splits. And Spacious Skies Bell Ridge itself is like a state park. We have
Mm.
hikes to waterfalls and to caves, and we have just a beautiful overlook over the Cumberland Plateau. So yeah, that's just a treasure trove of adventure there. And then in Savannah, at Spacious Sky Savannah Oaks, we're right on one of the canals there that actually you can hop into your boat and follow it out to the Atlantic, and people do that, and it's really fun. So we have a boat launch. But you can, certainly go fishing there and around the area. There are some hiking trails. There are the beaches like Tybee Island, and you can camp much later. I mean, we're open year round in the South, so
Mm.
you can camp all year, and so there are a few scenic drives. I wish that I could pronounce them, but they have the Native American names, and so it's Cherahola is a skyway, and I'm sure there are some people who know to say that are listening and are laughing. And then there's the Chattahoochee Oconee National Forest that are around there. So
How fun. Well,
I
just the
welcome
name.
corrections. I welcome corrections.
Well, just Savannah alone. I mean, saying that it's down in Savannah, for anybody that's been to Savannah knows what a neat area that is to visit. And if you've never been to Savannah, yeah, it is a neat area to go spend some time at.
Exactly right. It's such a historic, nice little town, and there's so much to do. There is a fantastic food scene,
Oh,
and I never get over like being able to camp near a great town or a great city like that, go in and enjoy like time downtown, and then come back to my like beautiful campsite and put the fire on and not have to be in like four walls. And it's just I love that dichotomy.
yeah, I do too. Absolutely. So, for someone who is planning their first fall national forest road trip, what's your best advice that you would give them? Like on timing or routes or gear, or I know you mentioned layers. Anything else?
There's for sure. Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of resources online, thankfully, that help you time things out. Like each state has Maine, for example, like they tell you when your time to get in the car and go is. So for
Mm,
sure, there are lots of like color maps out there, and on our website, you can see, our recommendations for timing in those areas. I think that, shoulder season, which is right now, like the weekdays are a great best bet. So if you can, travel and stay during the weekdays, um, it'll be like a nice peaceful experience, and it'll be like less stressful about, your reservations. For sure layers, for sure rain gear, for sure like sturdy shoes. You want to be prepared when conditions swing. Um, and I mean, this is like life in general, but don't be rigid about your route. Like,
uh,
always be willing to be flexible, and um, you'll just have an easier, less stressful time if you're able to pivot.
I think that's, the advice that all campers should take no matter what they're doing because
No matter what.
something always goes wrong eventually.
Yeah.
And the more you can pivot and just be the better.
Yep, yep. Do not like have your perfect vision of your trip in mind and have all these hardcore expectations. Just go with the flow. Enjoy.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you could recommend one stop on your fall color trail this year, which one would it be and why?
Just one?
Just one. Just one.
Just
Yeah.
one. Oh gosh. Oh, that's the hardest question I've ever been asked. I think I almost want to say I'm not going to answer it, but I'll 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 say that Bear Den, Spacious Skies Bear Den would be my first pick. It is, within the national like forest area of the Blue Ridge Parkway, and it is our campground that needed to recover from Hurricane Helene last year, and so we're really proud of how far it has come, and how hard our teams have worked to get it back to where it is, and it is a magical place. So there are other magical Spacious Skies campgrounds, absolutely, but Bear Den just has needed our love this year.
Mm. Well, and we did a Girl Camper event there in early August, and it's actually the story about it is in the fall issue of the Girl Camper magazine for anybody that hasn't read it yet. And I know the gals had such a good time there. They went down, they did some service projects, so some rebuilding, and they just all around really enjoyed the experience that they had.
And we were so glad to host them and have, Girl Camper support us in that way. We really appreciate it and are so glad that they had a good time.
Yeah, yeah. Now, are your campgrounds Um, are they open all year round, or do some of them close for the winter? Or
Everything that is south, New Jersey and south, is
okay.
open year round. And there is one campground in New Hampshire that is open year round as well. And it is 5 minutes away from Pat's Peak. It's a ski mountain up there. So there is a lot of like winter fun to be had at Spacious Skies French Pond in Henniker, New Hampshire. If you are that kind of camper. We have seen photos of folks who have, popped up their little canvas tent and put their like little wood burning stoves in there, and it's
Hmm.
like in a snowy landscape. And I mean, it is adventurous for sure. I haven't braved it yet, but maybe one day.
We do, my husband and I, we do a lot of winter camping, and we have a camper van among our fleet of campers.
Among the fleet, yeah.
Yeah. But the van is really fun for us in the winter because we do take it to places where we can go ski.
Yeah.
And one New Year's Eve, this is a funny little story was we were going to celebrate New Year's Eve by going to a yoga class that was brand new, and I got the time wrong. And I don't have a meltdown very often, like pretty much never, but I had a little bit of a meltdown that night because it just was, I was so looking forward to this yoga class, and it was like at 5 and we showed up at 5:15 and we couldn't get into it now. And I just felt like the whole year is going to start off bad, because this had happened. And I was so down about it. And we got home and my husband said, well, um, pack a bag, we're going to go camping. And I was like, okay. And we were able to go up to one of our national forest campgrounds that stays open all year. And I thought, we had snow on the ground. It was like 10 degrees. It's 8 o'clock at night by now. And I'm thinking, we are such badasses. We're up here camping. And we pull in, and there's these two people in a tent.
I mean, it's hardcore,
Yeah, Reese packed. We had heat. They had a tent.
but what you did was also hardcore, so do not discount it.
Oh, it was fun. Yeah, it's kind of turned into our New Year's Eve tradition now, is we try to go camping somewhere. But yeah, I still think of those people in that tent and just think, well, yeah, you were badass.
Awesome. True.
Allie, where can people learn more about the Fall Color Trail and plan their own fall adventure?
Yes. So the Spacious Skies website is spaciousskiescampgrounds.com. And I know that there are links that will lead you to the Fall Color Trail from the webpage. And there are also, your local Forest Service fall color reports and the state reports that, you can use. And really, like, I just, again, like, want to say, like, this is not a high pressure situation. Like, camping is fun, camping is easy. So I just think that if you pick a stop near you and you just get up and go, just like you
Hmm.
literally told the story of, it is just so nice and rewarding and refreshing to like be present like that. So
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
all your listeners to do that.
Well, we'll put a links to the in our show notes for sure to the fall color trail that you have. And thank you so much for coming on today. This has been really fun, and I mean, it definitely wants me to get out there and go camping like right now.
Yeah,
And to
right
anybody's watching and listening, if it doesn't inspire you to do the same, I don't know what's wrong with you.
now. Yeah, well, I think that your audience is probably cherry picked Lesa of Girl Camper.
It is. But thanks, Allie. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, that's our show for today. And I want to thank Allie for joining me. I hope you guys got some really good tips from her on where to catch the best fall colors in our national forests, and that this inspired you if you were listening or watching. Get out there, whether you are on the East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, South, wherever. Get out there and take that drive. Go check out the fall colors. Do one last camping trip because this really is the best time of year. Go take a hike. Just get outside and enjoy this. But before we really go, here is a reality check. Did you know that rodents can carry 35 known diseases and they reproduce like wildfire? One mouse can get pregnant every 3 weeks. And they don't just have one baby, they have a lot of babies. So if you're storing your camper this fall, getting ready to winterize, like, oh, I am. Don't give mice a chance to settle in. I use Fresh Cab from Earthkind. It's a natural repellent that protects your RV without any toxic chemicals or traps. I just place this pouch on the floor, under the sink, maybe one in the cupboards, and that's it. This scent that repels the mice, and I can relax. It smells kind of good, and it works all winter long. I think I actually need to replace it maybe every 30 days, but it's a good time to go in and check out your camper. So skip the heartache and the cleanup that might come in the fall. Grab some fresh cab at either earthkind.com or at any major retailer and get it in your rig so that it's taken care of. And when you open it up next season, everything's going to be good. Thanks again for joining me. And if you like this episode, be sure to subscribe to the Girl Camper podcast and our YouTube channel. Check Girl Camper out on our website and be sure to join us so you can come to one of our many events that we have planned, not only for the rest of 2025, but also for 2026. And until next time, I'm Lesa McDermott, and I'll catch you by the campfire.